Okay, good evening, everyone. How are you doing today? Good evening, online. Did you enjoy the vacation? Huh? Good evening. Okay. So it has been quite few days, correct? 3, 4 days. I don't know. You are still in that mood, or you came back to the normal. But I see the number of students are yet to be increased, right? Okay, so fine. Let's move on. Do you remember what did we discuss in our last class? Huh? That Q&A. Okay. Before that, regions and availability zones. Should we should we quickly have a shootout if you remember that or not? Okay. So what is a region? It's a geographical area, or in another words, what we can say, region is a place where AWS has its infrastructure. Okay. So what does the region contains? Availability zones. What is availability zones? Data centers. So a region contains only one availability zone or multiple availability zones? Multiple availability zones. Okay. These availability zones are interconnected with each other or not? Network are interconnected? Yes. And what is the example region that we should be using it in our course? Mumbai. What is the region? What is the code? AP minus South minus 1. AP minus South minus 1. Okay. And do you recommend to launch all EC2 instances in only one single availability zone? No. So what is the best method to distribute the EC2 instance across availability zones? So these regions and availability zones are completely managed by AWS. Very good. So low latency is good or high latency is good? Low latency is good. And two regions can talk to each other by default? No. If required? Yes. Okay. And does the load balancer has any, is the load balancer specific to any availability zone? It is specific to region. It is specific to region. Very good. Do you remember the exact definition of the load balancer? Load balancer distribute the traffic to multiple EC2 instances across availability zones. Very good. Across availability zones. Good. And then if you want to set up your entire infrastructure in AWS, your entire infrastructure should be private or public? Private. So it should be what cloud? Private cloud, virtual private cloud, or your entire infrastructure should be within the VPC or outside the VPC? Within the VPC. That means inside the VPC. Two VPCs can talk to each other by default? No. If required? Yes. How many VPCs you can create maximum? 5 VPCs. VPC is regional, global? Regional. VPC is regional. Oh, fantastic. And we remember that hypnotism diagram, box diagram. So the outer layer is AWS. Inside the AWS, what we have? Region. Inside the region, VPC. Inside the VPC, availability zone. Inside the availability zones, EC2 instances. You did not forget anything. Injected, huh? Fantastic. Very nice. Okay, so very happy that you still remember all those topics. So, Nana, from now onwards, we are going to the next level. Okay. Usually, generally, I give two options from this level. So you need to choose one option. So in front of you, you have two options. Number one, you know that AWS is a group of services. Yes or no? So from now onwards, we need to talk about the services. So we are done with all the basics. And now from now onwards, from today onwards, we need to talk about the services. So as I said, you have two options. So directly taking the service and then going into the deep dive. That is option number one. Option number two is I'll give the overview of the services first. And then I'll take the each service and I'll go deeper into it. So which one would you choose? Option one or two? Option two. Everyone option two? Online? I'm repeating those options again. The first option is directly taking the service, and then we need to talk when we'll talk about that. Option two is I'll give the overview of the services first. Once we cover the overview, then we'll take one service and we'll go deeper into it. Option one or two? Okay, everyone said two. So I agree. I respect your decision. So I'll be taking the option two. So what I'll do is we will go with the overview of the services first. I personally prefer option two only because every batch also choose option two. Because I'll give you one quite simple example. Which is your favorite visiting place? Amirpet. Okay. Is dedicated to the courses. Which place generally? Which place do you like? Huh? Manali. Okay. Office. Huh? What? Kashmir. Okay. So Goa, Tirupati, many places. Okay. Let's say, for example, Kashmir. You don't know anything about Kashmir. Assume that you don't know anything about Kashmir. So would you first investigate, identify what are the services, what are the places that you want to go, analyze it, and then you go like that, or directly you go to Kashmir and then just roam here and there? First one, no. So that good. The thing is, first you need to analyze what are the places that you have, and then you prioritize which one to go first and which one is you like the most. So and then you go deeper into it. So similarly, also in AWS, we'll go into the same thing. Like first we'll go with the overview of the services that we cover, and then once we learn about the overview, you will get to know more about many services. So integration is very good. Let's say, for example, cement. Okay, mix. Let's say cement and sand. So I talk about cement and I talk about sand separately. Do you understand about the actual thing? No, right? So if I tell about the what is sand and what is cement and how do you mix it, then you understand the end result of it. Similarly here also, so I'll be giving the overview of the services first, then you will get more and more knowledge out of it, and then you can when then we'll learn about individual services, so that when we are learning, you will think how to integrate with other services also. So AWS is a group of services where you need to integrate it. So if you go directly and talk about 11111 service, if I say something about, hey, there is a service called this, we'll talk about that later. Will you understand? No. For that reason, we'll go with the overview first. And overview topic will go for a couple of days, 2-3 days, few days. You need to be patient. You need to patiently listen and learn all the topics. Okay? Are you in hurry? No hurry, no? We'll go aram se, correct? So maximum, you'll take maximum out of me. Okay? Don't get hurry. Don't get thinking about, sir, when you start the practicals, when is that, it is. We'll go slowly one by one. Okay, Nana? Okay, good. So as you said, let's talk about the overview of the services first. Till now, we have seen the teasers. Whatever that you have learned till now is a teaser. And now we are going to trailer, not movie. We are going for the trailer now. So let's see for a few days the trailer and then we'll go to the actual movie. Okay. Online, can you please confirm? Can you see my screen and can you hear me well? Perfect. So the first service that we are talking about here is that you know very well. What is that? EC2. What is the full form of EC2? Elastic Cloud Compute or Compute Cloud? Very good. Uh-huh. So Elastic Compute Cloud. So you should never confuse it. This is one of the certification questions that you will get. Okay. So what do we do in EC2 service? We go and create a virtual machines. Yes or no? What are these virtual machines called here? Instances. What instances? EC2 instances. So in EC2 is a service, Nara. What is that? EC2 is a service. In that service, what do we create? Virtual machines. Instead of calling virtual machines, we should be calling it as instances. Instead of calling create instances, it is good to call it as launch instances. What is that? Because when you go to the console, everywhere you see launch instance, launch instance, launch instance. There is nothing called create instance. So whenever you're going for interviews, and in interviews also, in interview, if you say create instance, that guy will easily understand that you guys are not working on AWS, you are a fake guy. Because there is no concept called create instance. There is a concept called launch instance. Which one? Launch. Now you tell me, what do we do in EC2 service? We launch EC2 instances. EC2 is a service where we launch EC2 instances. Okay. So what are the servers called here? Instances. Servers. What are the servers called here? Instances. What instances are those? EC2 instance. EC2 instances are nothing but virtual machines. So what do we do in EC2 service? In EC2 service, what do we do? We can launch EC2 instances. EC2 is a big service in AWS. It is the biggest service in AWS. This EC2 itself will take a lot of days to complete for us. So I just touched what is EC2. What we do in EC2, we go and launch the virtual machines, or we go and call it as we launch the EC2 instances. And remember, in AWS, every service will be either regional or global. Say that, Nana. Regional or global. Say that again. Regional or global. If you take a service, let's say our EC2 the EC2 service, what is that? Our EC2 service is regional or global. I'll make you to answer that. I have launched one EC2 instance in Mumbai. Can I see the same EC2 instance in Ireland? Yes or no? Answer is no. Because you have launched an EC2 instance in Mumbai, that EC2 instance will be in only in Mumbai. If you launch one EC2 instance in Ireland, that EC2 instance will be only in Ireland. You cannot see EC2 instance in Mumbai in any other region. So EC2 is specific to region, or it is global? It is specific to regional. Now you tell me, EC2 is regional or global? That is a certification question. So remember, in AWS, every service will be either regional or global. And remember, 95% of all the services are regional only. Which one? So you no need to ask me every time that, sir, this service is regional, this service is global. By default, it is regional. Until I say specifically, consider the service is regional only. If it is something is there, then I'll say that, hey, Babu, this service is global. Until that, maximum everything by default are regional only. So no need to ask me, sir, this service is regional or global. If I don't say anything, that meaning that is regional. Okay, super. AWS services can be either regional or global. So EC2 is regional service. EC2 is regional service. Okay. When I draw the diagram like this, what do you think? What is this? Load balance. These are, what are those? EC2 instances. As I told you, from now onwards, you should not call it as servers. You should call it as EC2 instances. Okay. Okay. Before that, before this, CTC here. Do you remember? Anna, CTs? No, please. You're disturbing. Huh? Don't talk in between. Okay. So in on-premises, which one? In on-premises. We are talking about on-premises. In on-premises, what we have, Nana? We have physical machines. Remember? What are those? We have physical machines. What are those? Physical machines. Then we have migrated to virtual machines. Remember? So now we are talking about the on-premises. Assume in on-premises, can we set up our load balancer? Yes, in on-premises, we can set up the load balancer. And what do we have after load balancer? We have the, assume that we have app server, assume that we have the DB server. What is that? DB server. These are all physical machines. What is this, Nana? Physical machines. This is load balancer, and this is application server, and this is DB server. So load balancer is sending the traffic to application server is sending the traffic to DB server. Okay, this is on premises. What is this? On-prem. Now I am asking you a question. You tell me in on-premises, is it easy to set up high availability? In on-premises? No. No HA. Okay. In on-premises, is it possible to set up auto scaling? Tap, 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 tap. Can you create, servers and delete servers? No, that is bloody physical machines. No. Is it possible? No. So no auto scaling. No auto scaling. Okay, let's say you have one physical machine which is 8 GB RAM. Can you immediately change it to 32 GB RAM? What is that called? Elasticity or scalability? Super. No scalability. Do you see the disadvantages of having this in on-premises? Just in case, Pusuk, if this load balancer goes down, all your entire application is down or not? Yes. There is a high chance that your load balancer will go down. If that load balancer went down, your application will work? It will not work. So coming to in our AWS, you no need to worry about that load balancer at all. Because in on-premises, load balancer meaning it is a software that you need to install on your server. Let's say, for example, Nginx, Apache, Tomcat. All these are all called what, Nana? These are all called load balance. They will do the load balancing stuff. So basically, it is a software where you need to install on that server. And then you need to configure. So anytime that server goes down, anytime the load balancer will affect, anytime there is security issues, anytime there will be a 100% problem will be there if you're handling load balancer in your on-premises. Whereas coming into AWS, this load balancer will never go down. This load balancer will never go down because this load balancer in on-premises is a server. But this load balancer in AWS is a service. Which one? So load balancer is a service from AWS. So any service which is provided by AWS will go down. It will never go down. So are we happy or not? So do we need to install load balancer? Load balancer is a server or service? Service. Do we need to log into the load balancer? No need. We just need to access the load balancer. Load balancer is completely managed by AWS. Getting it? And this load balancer in AWS, we call it as ELB, Elastic Load Balancer. Which one? Do you remember we discussed about elasticity? What is elasticity? Increasing or decreasing the number of servers based on the load. Yes or no? And this load balancer also elastic. That meaning load balancer is a service for us. Do we need to really worry about the performance of the load balancer? Do you need to worry about the scalability of load balancer? Do you need to worry about the elasticity of the load balancer? Nothing. It's completely managed by AWS. What we need to do is there is a button called create load balancer. Go and click on create load balancer. It will get created. You understand, Anna? You understand? So generally, before learning about elastic load balancer, what is the definition of normal load balancer? You know this, right? Load balancer. Tell me, Nana, Chiti, what is the definition? Which distribute the traffic to multiple servers. That is load balancer. And what is this load balancer called in AWS? Say that. Elastic load balancer. In shortcut, ELB. Now you tell me what is the definition of ELB? ELB distribute the traffic to multiple EC2 instances across availability zones. This is the definition of our load balancer. So this is the ELB and this is all our EC2 instances. This is EC2, EC2, EC2. GTC here. Can I launch the EC2 instance in 1A? This one in 1B? This one in 1C? Load balancer can send the traffic to all availability zones because load balancer is specific to regional availability zone. Region. Get it? So ELB is completely managed by AWS. What is that? ELB is completely managed by AWS. Do I need to worry about the high availability of it? Auto scaling of it? Scalability of it? Performance of it? Etc. It is completely managed by AWS. ELB is a server or service? Is not a server. ELB is a service. Can you log into the load balancer or can you access the load balancer? Access. How do you access? Using a DNS name. What's that? Whenever you create a load balancer, AWS will give you the URL. What is that? URL. That URL is nothing but DNS name. So you can say that how do you access the load balancer? Either using URL or using DNS name. You can say the same thing. It's better to call it as DNS name. How do you access the load balancer? Using DNS name. Using what? DNS. You cannot log into the ELB. You can access ELB with the DNS name. Does load balancer is specific to any availability zone? No, it is specific to region. ELB doesn't have any availability zone. It is created at regional level. It is clear till here, everyone? Online, is it clear, Nana? Super. Hey, if required, can I set up auto scaling on top of it here? Here. Yes or no? Ah. What is that group? This group called auto scaling group. What is auto scaling? Scale? Huh? Scale out, scale in. What group that is called? Auto scaling group. What is that? Auto scaling group. Super. Okay. So that is a very small touch on the EC2. We will be having a blast on EC2 in next coming days, but at the moment we have just touched the EC2. So okay, next there is a service. Do you remember we discussed about the service models in starting days? What are the service models we have learned? Infrastructure as service, platform as service, software as service. Remember those? Okay. So in platform as a service, can you tell me which service in AWS will act as a platform service? Elastic Beanstalk. Fantastic. What is Elastic Beanstalk? Easy and quick deployment of applications in AWS. Did we learn this or not? Hmm. Tell me, Chiti, in platform as a service, customers are responsible for what? Application and very good. Application and data. Are we responsible on the servers? Do we need to worry about the servers? Do we have any control on the servers? Think. Yes, only in one ALB. One ELB here. Margaret. Yes. So here we have another service called Elastic Beanstalk. Was it Elastic Beanstalk? So if someone asks what is Elastic Beanstalk, what do you say? And quick deployment of applications in AWS. Chiti, in general, in platform as service, do we have any control on the servers? No. In general, platform as service, you don't have any control on the servers. I'll tell you one thing here. But whereas in Beanstalk, Chiti, whereas in Beanstalk, Beanstalk is a platform as service. But in general, in platform as service, do we have any control on the service? We don't have. So what we do is, what we have in our hands, we have application in our hands. And what we tell to Beanstalk, hey, Beanstalk, take this application and deploy it. And what Beanstalk will do, Beanstalk will take the application and then it will create the servers by its own and it will deploy everything by its own and give the URL to the customer. This is actually the platform as service, correct? See, now here, I'll tell you one secret. The backbone of Beanstalk is EC2 only. The backbone of Beanstalk is what? Who? EC2 instance. So whenever you give application to Beanstalk, Beanstalk will launch what? EC2 instances. Beanstalk will launch what? EC2 instances. And you have given the application no to Beanstalk. That Beanstalk will go and deploy the application inside the EC2 instances. But Chiti, generally in platform as a service, do we have any control on the servers? We don't have. But in Beanstalk, we have control on the EC2 instances. But is it recommended to control? No. Who has launched these EC2 instances? Beanstalk. Beanstalk has launched EC2 instances. Beanstalk has deployed your application. Beanstalk is doing everything for it, for the EC2 instance. What will you do there? You don't need to do anything. But do we have control on the servers? Yes. But is it recommended to control? Let it handle by Beanstalk. But do we have control? Yes. You're getting it. So in Beanstalk, what you need to do is we have full control on the EC2 instance, but is it recommended to control? No. So what we need to do in the Beanstalk is just give the application to Beanstalk. There is an option called browse. Click on browse and your application zip file will be there. No, upload it. Bus. Click on submit. And Beanstalk will go and launch the EC2 instances. Beanstalk will go and deploy the application. Beanstalk will configure everything there and give the URL to you simply. You understand what is Beanstalk? You understood the difference between EC2 and Beanstalk? In EC2, what we do? We launch manually We deploy manually, we'll set up manually, everything we have to do by ourselves. But in Beanstack will do everything for us. It is up to you. If you are very lazy, which service would you choose? Beanstack. If you are very technically good and powerful, which one would you choose? EC2. Because it's similar. I told you, I remember I gave an example of, preparing biryani. Huh? If you want to cook by yourself and eat, you can eat it. You can prepare like however you want, spicy, non-spicy, however it is, you can do it. You have full talent, show your talent in preparing it. Whereas in other ways, you just need to go and go to restaurants and whatever he has prepared, you need to eat it. So that is a big difference between EC2 and Beanstack. So if you ask me, sir, which one is the most commonly used in real time? It's purely depend upon the requirement. If your project doesn't want you to manage many machines, then go for Beanstack. And if your manager said to you, you handle, but we need to have full control on what we are doing, then go for EC2. Understood? Super. So here in AWS Beanstack, you have full control on EC2 instances launched by Beanstack. Who will handle servers for us? That meaning here, Beanstack. Beanstack handles EC2 instances behalf of us. What is the backbone of Beanstack? EC2 instance. Okay. You will get a question like this. Let's say, for example, we have a client here. What does the client has? Application in his hands that is developed in, let's say, Baba. Okay. Okay. See here, Chiti. I am the customer. You are AWS engineer. I came to you and said, hey, Babu, take this application. Take this application and give me the URL. I want to access it. So in front of you, how many ways are there? 2 ways. Fantastic. How many ways are there? 2 ways. What are those? Number 1, EC2 service. Number 2, Beanstack. You understanding? So it is up to you. If you want to set up everything by yourself, do it everything by yourself, then go for EC2. Then if you don't want anything, so just upload the application and everything should be done by the provider, then go for the Beanstack. You understand? So here you have 2 ways. One is EC2. One is EC2. Another one is Beanstack. You can call it as Beanstack also. You can call it as Elastic Beanstack also, but don't call it as EBS. Shortcut. Elastic Beanstack. Don't call it as EBS because EBS represents another thing in coming days. Okay, don't call it as EBS. So what do we do it here, Nana? So in EC2, you need to launch EC2 instance. You need to configure. You need to deploy. You need to maintain everything. You have to do it by yourself. Whereas in Beanstack, give it some configurations. What we need to give to the Beanstack? Just configurations. I mean, application. Just give the application. And then you need to select the platform, Nana. What you need to select here? Platform. Let's say what application that the customer is using here? Java application. Which one? Java. In Beanstack will give like this: Tomcat, .NET platform, Docker platform, Python platform, Go platform, Ruby platform, etc. Basically, etc. Like this. These are all called what? Platforms. What are these called, Nana? Platforms. Now tell me, you have Java application. Java application will work on which platform? If you don't know, it works on Tomcat. Which one? I have .NET application. Which platform I need to select? .NET. I have Python application. Which platform you need to select? If I have let's say, Docker, I mean, don't worry about the microservices related application. Then so like the Docker, which based on your application, select the platform and then hit enter. That's it. And what the Beanstalk will do? Beanstalk will automatically launch an EC2 instance. Beanstalk automatically launch an EC2 instance, and it will put an application inside it. And it'll give the URL to you to access it. Understood? How the Beanstalk is doing? Today? Clear? Online is this clear? I'm going very slow. Difference between EC2 and Beanstalk now. Understood? Super. Okay. Now, it is up to you whether you select EC2 or Beanstalk. And now there is a one more service here. I'll give one example and then I'll go to the service. Let's say you are very Ashwin, what about auto scaling group ELV? Everything will be there. That's why I said give it some configurations. That configurations include auto scaling, load balance, everything you need to give, everything will be created by Beanstalk only. But what? Guys, come on. If you go to Beanstalk and say, hey, Beanstalk, do it. Will it do? If you say, huh, come on, do it. Abracadabra, do it. No, right? So what you need to do? What you need to give? Configurations you need to give. What you need to give? Whether you need to have auto scaling, whether you need to have load balancer, whether you need to use EC2, whether you need to use Linux, whether you need to use Windows. So everything configuration, we need to give it to the Beanstalk. Based on your configuration, it will go and set it up. Okay. Now, assume that you have a very startup, very small company. You are the only one person in the company and you got a small website where you don't know anything in AWS. You don't know anything technical in AWS. What do you think? Will you go to EC2? Will you go to EC2 and set it up? There are 7 steps to launch an EC2 instance. How many steps are there? How many steps are there to launch an EC2 instance? 7 steps are there. Each step is bloody technical. Each step is technical. A normal person can go and launch an EC2 instance. So, and you have another choice. Which one? Beanstalk. In Beanstalk also, you need to give configurations. But a normal person without any having technical knowledge, can he understand the Beanstalk? Whether he need to give application, whether he need to give the configuration, whether it needs a load balancer, etc. So for this kind of people, they came to AWS and said, hey, AWS, I don't want all these things. I want something, I go and click, everything should be done. I will go to AWS, go to particular thing, I'll click, put it, everything should be created. Generally, is that possible? Not possible. So AWS came up with a service called Light Sail. What's that? Not Light Sail. Light Sail. What? So say that pronunciation because the name itself clearly says, is it light or heavier? And you're sailing very lightly, correct? Light sail. Which one? Light sail. Light sail is a service from AWS. Anna, Chiti, everything will be readily available, will be there. Readily available. Everything is readily available. Select which one you want. Tuck, and then everything's ready. Getting it? No configuration, nothing. Go and select. You want bread, butter, jam. Select. I want bread. You will get bread. You're getting it? Simple as that. So go ahead and then that is why it is called light sail because, and that to remember, it doesn't support heavy machines. Let's say in EC2, you will have 900 GB RAM servers will also be there. But here it is 32 GB RAM maximum. How much? 32 GB. That's why it is called it as light sail. If you have lesser audience, lesser customers, and you don't want to have technical, if you don't have any technical knowledge, and you still want to work in AWS, then go for light sale. Minimum to minimum configurations will be there. Any person can understand that. And the big disadvantage of light sale is no auto scaling. There is no concept of auto scaling. That's why it's called it as light sale. Now you understand why I call it as light sale. If I say light sale, you don't get understand. So that's why you say light sale, because it's very light, very light. And no, whichever you are using the softwares, applications in real time, all the applications will be just hanging over there. Like Joomla, cPanel, GitHub, GitLab, not GitHub, GitLab, Redmine, Drupal, WordPress. All latest applications which are used in the industry will be just hanging over there. You just need to pick it up. That's it. That is called which service? Light Cell. There's a question here, Sarita. Elastic Beanstalk doing quick deployment application easy to also doing deployment of application. What is the difference of this deployment process? That's what I said. This is just a trailer. All this deeper information will go when we go when watch the movie. Yes or no? When you watch the trailer, you do understand deeper into it? No. So what are these deployment process that we have? When we go to Beanstalk in deeper, there we learn. Here I'm just touching it. So you should know there is a service called Beanstalk. What do we do with it? Beanstalk? This one we will do. But deeper level, we'll go late. Okay. Madhu, Sarita. Light sale, everything readily available, no configuration. But with Elastic, we need to do configuration. Correct, Kavya. Correct. What is the service Anna here? What is the service? Light sale. If you want to set up and create a virtual light sale instance, which already has everything installed, like WordPress, GitLab, Joomla, Node.js, Drupal, Redmine, Nginx, right, cPanel, etc., etc. Everything will be readily available in Lightcell. Pick it up and use it. What's the disadvantage, Anna? It doesn't support what? Yes, auto scan. That's why we call it as Lightcell. In EC2, we call it as EC2 instance. In Lightcell, we call it as Lightcell instance. Which one? Lightcell instance. Is it clear online? Did it clear, everyone? Kavya is asking something here. So no auto scaling meaning no elasticity or no scalability. You should answer that, Kavya. Whenever we say about auto scaling will come under elasticity or scalability. You only answered. Scalability also very low. Okay. Is it clear now? Any questions? No, no, clear now? Any questions? Nice. Let's go slow. And next, we have a service called Lambda. What is that? Not Nimda. Lambda. What is that? Lambda. Whenever we hear about Lambda, remember, it is used for automation purpose. What purpose? In AWS, if you want to automate something, what is the first thing that you should get in your mind? Lambda. Before we talk about the lambda, and by the way, this lambda is mostly, as I said, automation. So automation will be mostly used by whom? Developers. Yes or no? Because they write the code. Of course, we should be also using the automation. So for that meaning, we need to write a script or not? We need to write a script. Before this, developers out there here in our classroom, do you know what is a function? What is a function? Not your normal functions, family functions. No, not that. Function. So function meaning basically it's set of code or a block of code or set of instructions. Anything you can say. So it's a block of code or a set of code where you can reuse it multiple times. Yes or no? So you have some code and in your application, that code can be executed multiple times whenever you want. You know to write the code again. Already code is written and you give the name of the function, you call that function and that code will be executed anywhere. That is called function. What's that? Function. Now tell me, can any function will be executed without the application? Without application, your function will execute 100%. People will laugh if someone say, hey, can I run a function without application? Not possible. Can you run the application without server? No. That also people will laugh. Arey bhai, without server, how will you run the application? Because application should be inside the server only, no? But here, you can run the function without application. You can run the application without server also here in Lambda. So can we say Lambda is serverless? Lambda is server. No concept of server here. No concept of server. Now let's say, for example, Google Drive you are using, no? G Drive. Is it server based or serverless for us? Server based or serverless? Server? Okay. I'll tell you the difference between serverless and server based. Server based meaning where you are going in logging into the machine. You're logging into the machine with username and password. You're logging into the server. That is called server based. And if you are not logging into any server, you're just using a service that is called serverless. Now tell me, G Drive is server based or serverless? Server? You're logging into the server in Google Drive. That's why I'm saying server based or serverless? Serverless. Because there is nowhere you're logging into any server there. Gmail, server based or serverless? Serverless. So like this, Lambda is also a serverless for us. But for us, it is serverless. But in the backend, servers will be there. But do we need to worry about that? For us, it is serverless by. That's it. For us, it is serverless. Okay. So I'll start with saying that Lambda is serverless. So can you run the code without server here? Yes, you can run the code without server. So in Lambda, what do we create, Nana? We create functions. What do we create? Functions. And that one we call it as Lambda functions. What is it? Say that. Say that. Lambda. What do we create in Lambda? Lambda functions. What will be there in Lambda? Lambda functions. Okay, so what are the services? Kavya is asking, what are the services where we log into the server, sir? Because most of the services we use are serverless, right? Did I say that? So Kavya is asking, sir, what are all the services which we are going to the, we are logging into the servers? We just started today that talking about the services. Is it possible for us to tell all the services now? No. So that question cannot be answered now, Kavya. But generally, there are so many things where we need to log into the server, and there are few things which are serverless also. One of the concept, one of the service which is serverless is Lambda. And by the way, Lambda is regional or global? Lambda is regional or global? Huh? Did I said it is global? Huh? If I didn't say anything, what is, then it is regional only, no? Huh? EC2, regional. Beanstalk, regional. Lambda, regional. Sir, which one is global? Don't worry. When time comes, I'll tell, no? So by default, everything are regional. Do not, that's why I said I pressed that point. Whenever I didn't say anything about it, consider that service is a regional. 95% all are regional. There are few services which are global that we'll talk. Okay. So now, can we say Lambda is used for automation purpose? Lambda is used for automation. Okay, I'll give one example. Yeah, I'll give one example. I'll take Ajay, Ajit, Darren, Darren, Darren. Okay. Mm. So we have our friend Darren. Darren. Correct? Mm. So we have a friend Darren here. See, I'll tell this. Listen this carefully. So whenever we learned, so we have learned so many things. Darren, of course, Margaret. Darren, what he did was he got excited on the class. And what he did was he decided that, sir, what did you talk about EC2? I got very excited. I want to launch EC2 instance today. I said, I saw his excitement and I said, Darren, do not launch EC2 instance. I said, he said, okay, sir. No, no, sir. No, I don't launch. What he did was he went home and he launched. When he launched, automatically that EC2 instance is getting terminated. What is the meaning of terminated here? Delete. What is the meaning of terminate here? Delete. See, what do we do with the EC2 instance? Can we go and launch EC2 instance? We can stop EC2 instance. We can start EC2 instance. We can repeat EC2 instance and we can terminate. What is the terminate meaning here? Delete. Terminate meaning delete or destroy or kill it. Asak. Huh? Only once. So here we can launch EC2 instance, we can stop EC2 instance, we can start EC2 instance, we can reboot, we can terminate. Here terminate meaning understood? Terminate meaning delete it completely, remove it off, delete. So what he's doing is Darren has launched an EC2 instance and then automatically it's getting terminated. Oh, he thought Riyaz sir is doing it. He told not to launch an EC2 instance. I launched, he is there, he is going and terminating the machines. Okay, no problem. He has launched another EC2 instance at 10 o'clock in the night, thinking that Riyaz sir has slept. So 10 o'clock also, excitement he has, and he has launched an EC2 instance. Pusuk again it got terminated. Oh, Riyaz sir is not sleeping. What he did is today, he put alarm at 1 o'clock in the midnight. This time definitely Riyaz sir might be sleeping. Again, he got up at 1 o'clock. He launched an EC2 instance. Again, it got terminated. What Riyaz sir is doing at 1 o'clock? He's not sleeping, huh? Huh? No, no, no. Maybe he's a hardworking fellow. So he's working might be. So I'll put alarm at 4 o'clock in the morning. Whoever is awake at 1 o'clock, he cannot get up at 4 o'clock. No. 4 o'clock, he put the alarm. Again, he launched his instance. Again, it got terminated. Oh, Riyaz sir is doing night out today. Okay. So, early morning, he came to office and he asked me, sir, tell me honestly, did you sleep last night? What did you do last night? Arey, what is the question that you're asking? Whatever I do, it's my wish. Who are you to ask? No, sir, you are doing something, sir. No, tell me honestly, what you're doing. I was not doing. I slept at my 10 o'clock. I got up at 5 o'clock. No, sir, you're lying, sir. So, and finally, Darren said, sir, tell me, I was launching EC2 and 10 o'clock, you terminating it. 1 o'clock, you terminated. 4 o'clock, you terminated. What is the problem, sir? How you are awake all the night? And how do you know that at that time only I am launching the EC2 instance? Is it possible for me to awake and then keep watching when he's launching the EC2 instance? There should be some automation process, no? That automation process will be handled by which service? Lambda. So Lambda is used for automation. So I'll give you an example here how I have dealt with this concept. So Darren has launched an EC2. Listen this carefully. Darren has launched an EC2 instance and this EC2 instance is getting terminated. Yes or no, no, no? It is instance terminated. See here. Whenever you do anything in AWS, an event will be generated in the backend. What is that? Event. What is that? Event. What is that? Event. An event is generated. When you launch event generated. When you terminate event. When you start event. When you stop event. When you create anything, not only in EC2, anything in AWS that you do, everything in the backend, what is triggered? Event is triggered or event is generated. Okay, now you tell me here which event is I am interested. Launch event, no. Because I'm interested in what event? Launch event. Because whenever he's launching, I need to take some action. Whenever he's launching, I need to take the action. So which event I'm interested here? Launch event. So here, whenever he launch an EC2 instance, launch event is generated. Or launch event is triggered. All these events, not only in EC2, Elastic Beanstalk events, EC2 Beanstalk events, Lambda events, any events in AWS are stored in one service. You know which service is that? We call it as Event Bridge. What service is that? If I ask you a question, Chitti, where are the events are stored? In which service you find all the AWS events? Event Bridge, louder. Which one? Event Bridge. In Event Bridge, all the events will be stored. Yes or no? In event, all the event. So which event I'm interested in? Launch event. Which service? EC2 service. I go and catch that event. I'm interested in the event. What I do is here, I'll create a rule in the event bridge. What do I create? I'll create a rule saying that, hey, Babu, whenever the launch event is triggered, then in Lambda, here I'll write one function called terminate function. What function? You can give any name. What do we create in Lambda? Functions. You can create any function. I'm giving the name. What is the name of the function here? Terminate. So here, this Lambda supports so many types of scripting. Like it supports, Lambda function supports your Java, Python, JavaScript, right? Ruby, .NET, etc., etc. All events, it's all scripting it support. So which one is the favorite one here? Which script? Which scripting is a favorite? Python. Which one? Lambda goes very well with Python. AWS, the entire AWS also will go very well with the Python only. So that is the reason why I said, in order to excel your career, in your career, one scripting language is required for you. Which one? Python. For that reason, I said, if we have one scripting language with you, so we can do these kind of automations. Otherwise, you need to awake all the night. Whenever he launch, you need to go and terminate. Otherwise, you create a rule with launch event bridge and create a function with what code? Python code. So what do you write? To terminate the EC2 instance. So you write a code to terminate the EC2 instance. Yes or no? No. You write a code to terminate the EC2. Whenever the launch event is triggered here, you invoke the Lambda function. Whenever the launch event is generated, you invoke this Lambda function. What is the word I'm using here? Invoke. What is that? So Lambda is invoked based on the event or trigger. Yes or no? Whenever, now tell me, whenever the EC2 instance is launched, which event is triggered? Launch event is triggered. And I have created a rule for this launch event. Whenever the launch event is triggered, and in this rule, I am calling the Lambda function. And in Lambda function, what is written? To terminate the EC2 instance. And what the Lambda function will go? It will go and terminate it. Whenever he launch, it will go and terminate. Whenever he launch, it will go and terminate. How many times he has launched also? Event and terminate. So these kind of, I'm just giving one example here. These kind of things will be handled. This kind of automation process will be handled by whom? Lambda. In from which service you create all these thing automations? Lambda. I'll give you one more example also quickly. Chitty, I have so many EC2 instances, so many. Nitish Kumar, I wrote that here on top. It's, yes, you can write it in Java also, you can write it in JavaScript also, any language you can write it. Support, Lambda function supports many scripting, many languages. See, Nana, I have so many EC2 instances running. I have so many EC2 running. But all these all the employees are not using these EC2 instances in the night. Do I need to keep on running this EC2 instance in the night? Let's say you are in this hall, fans are running, and in night, is it required to run these fans? What do you do? You stop it, no? What do you do? Stop it. Here also, I have the EC2 instance which is not is used in the night time. What I need to stop. At what time? When everyone left. Let's say 9 p.m. in the night, exactly what I need to do? Stop. Morning, they'll come, no? 9 a.m. automatically it should be start. Yes or no? Now tell me, will you do it manually? So which service would you implement? Lambda. What you need to write in Lambda? Functions. How many functions will you write for this? 2 functions. What functions are those? Excellent. Excellent. One is stop function. Another one is start function. And this in event bridge, what you can do is you can schedule it. You create a rule and schedule it. Exactly at 9 o'clock, this function will get triggered and this function will go and stop the EC2 instances. You understand how the Lambda will be used? So this Lambda is mostly used for automation purpose and mostly used by the developers and also by us also if you want to do any kind of automations. Otherwise, you need to do it manually. Clear, Nana? I'll stop it here. Clear, everyone? Any questions? Online? Super. So now tell me, what are the services that we have covered? Give the names. Number 1, EC2, Elastic Beanstalk, Light Sail, Lambda, one more service, Event Bridge. Fantastic. How many? 5. Just today, how many services we have covered? 5 services. See, now you understand different services, and if required, which service can be called from which service. For that reason, it is good to have the overview. Sometimes user load come at night, then again write script to start EC2. You need to decide first of all, Ashwin, which one to stop, which one not to stop. Take the screenshots. You can take the screenshots. PDFs you can expect. But I don't, in PDFs, how do you read all these things? It's better follow these only. Next, Okay. Okay. What is DNS name? What is DNS? Domain name server. So Manoj Kumar, whenever you create a load balancer, automatically give a DNS name. DNS meaning nice name. Auto scaling group. Okay. Can you give the final CC with smile today, please? Online. But Manoj Kumar, don't worry. We'll talk about that many times in coming days. CC with smile. Super. That is all, guys, for today. And I'll see you tomorrow with the next things. Until then, take care. Bye bye. Have a nice day. See you tomorrow. Good night.